Hello everybody, welcome back to a brand new episode of our F125 Career Mode. Hope you're all having a great day. Today, we have a second secret meeting on the season, and this time it is going to be with Visa Cash App Racing Bulls F1 team. VCarb wants to talk to us, and considering our options, I really don't see any reason right now to go to a team like VCarb, and we're going to decline these talks. And you know, my reasons are pretty straightforward right now. Sport is the team to be with. You look at the progression in the R&D. I mean, we are almost now alongside Mercedes. We went from the worst team to nearly better than Mercedes in just past half a season. It is remarkable at the developing rate that we've been on. I don't know if it's just luck or what, because I've not been able to ever have this kind of success with the team's development in one season in previous F1 games. But I mean, we have been just on a rapid just increase in development with this Sport team. Brand new team, of course, on the grid this season, and I think we've been surprising everybody. But we continue to emphasize the fact that we need to make sure we're also focusing on those 2026 regulations that are coming up, and you have to wonder if other teams are also doing that right now, sacrificing some this season so they can kick off 2026 with the, you know, their feet running on the ground. And that's something I do worry about with this team going forward. But at the same time, I mean, everything on the charts look like, hey, this is the team you want to be with right now. And we had a heartbreaker in Spa, the Belgian Grand Prix sprint weekend. We qualified pole in the sprint race. We ended up finishing third, not an official podium because it wasn't a Grand Prix. And then, of course, qualifying for the Grand Prix, complete disaster. And the Grand Prix, it was a bit of a disaster. We ended up looking like we might be, you know, on top of the world. And then it turned back into a disaster with a last lap tire failure. And it was just a complete mess. And we watched our teammate of Aiden Jackson score some significant points on us again. And Jackson has a very comfortable point margin on myself as we continue to battle each other in this full rookie driver lineup in the Formula One, Sport grid at least. And of course, we've got other rookies, of course, that we're fighting. I mean, such a massive rookie class, but it's clear that right now it's looking like it might be between myself and Aiden Jackson to score the most points between the rookies this season. As you can see, just pre-qualifying, having a bit of a chat there in the garage there with some of the media, but getting back into the zone here for the Hungarian Grand Prix. And this is a track that, not great for passing. This is a pretty lackluster circuit in terms of trying to pass anybody. You got one chance right here down towards turn 1 and turn 2 as well. But Q1, we breeze through Q1, and we end up P12. And actually, Aiden Jackson only ends up P16. So once again, looking like, although we had so much speed in Spa, might be lacking a bit of speed here this weekend in the Hungarian Grand Prix. And you can see here now in Q2, Jackson only manages P12 on his first attempt, so definitely lacking this weekend a little bit. So having to kind of lower that bar of expectations when you see something like that, to of course not get a little bit too far ahead of ourselves here. But yeah, here in Q2, felt pretty good with the lap that I had at least running. This is actually the second time in one day that I've been driving at the Hungaroring, because as well in my F1 My Career Mode that starts in the 2020 season, was just doing a career mode episode there as well. So I had a bit of experience and as well very different driving cars and handling as well, this game being much worse than F1 2020. But we head down the front straightaway, and there we go, P13. So that was all I was able to do. Jackson ends up P12, we end up P13. Not exactly what we wanted, but it is likely going to rain in the Grand Prix. That is going to certainly spice things up.
Welcome to Budapest once again for another round of Formula One action. Historically, a good race for first-time victories, with Button, Hill, Alonso and Heikki Kovalainen all reaching the top step of the podium for the very first time right here. 14 corners then for our drivers to navigate at the 2.7-mile Hungaroring today. It's 6 lefts and 8 rights around a lap here, with average speeds in the region of 120 miles per hour. It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. Lando Norris put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he'll start from pole position. And Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Piastri, Leclerc, Yuki Tsunoda and Sainz, Hamilton, Russell, Albon and Fernando Alonso, Doohan, Jackson, Golden Boy and Behrman, Gasly, Stroll, Esteban Ocon and Isaac Hadjar, Lawson, Antonelli, Hülkenberg and Gabriel Bortoleto rounds off the grid. Now it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track.
Look at this. It is going to rain later in the Grand Prix, so do we want to start on mediums, or maybe do we want to start on hards, or rely on hopefully the mediums getting us to the point of the rain?
So the formation lap is underway here in Hungary. The front runners will want to get themselves prepared for the race ahead, as they can expect to be attacked through the first two corners when the lights go out. And they'll need to survive those in order to kickstart what they hope is a promising race.
Only a handful of drivers starting on hards. I am one of them, Jack Doohan being the highest up. I'm confident the hards are the way to go here to make sure we get to the rain later in this race.
So as all the cars take their positions on the grid, the teams will be hoping their strategies pay off for them in today's race. The question I'm asking is which teams have got it right, which ones have got it horribly wrong?
Right, boys, just need a bit of luck on our side this week. We've got the pace there to be with Aiden. I'm going to make sure we get a good result today. Aiden Jackson's putting a lot of pressure on me right now. I mean, he is, putting the races together, getting great results. When the car is quick, he is maximizing the effort out of the car. There is days like this right here where the car is just not as quick. I mean, we had a car that had the capabilities to run 5th or 6th in Spa. Today, we don't even look like we have a car capable of running inside the points. We always talk about how it seems to really go back and forth for a midfield team like Connor Sport. Nonetheless, 35 laps of racing starting on the hards. Now we're going to go racing the Hungarian Grand Prix underway as we're lights out, and Lando Norris, he's going to try and close in on Max Verstappen here today in the points now as we head down into turn 1 is 3 wide right there. Look at this, Norris around the outside. Verstappen, he's going to drop down into the 3rd position. Not a good start for him right there. You got Oscar Piastri just behind, and as well you got a Williams up there in the mix once again. But how about Charles Leclerc in P2? Great start for him. His teammate of Lewis Hamilton a little bit further down the order, just in front of the Red Bull of Yuki Tsunoda. But Lando Norris knows that, at this point, if he wants to contend for a championship here in 2025, it is going to take a miracle. He's going to need to win races. He's going to need Verstappen to have some mechanical failures or crash out, whatever it might be. Verstappen, of course, had a mechanical failure a handful of races back, but Lando Norris had a mechanical failure just recently as well at home in Silverstone. So, yeah, obviously not what he wanted to see, and that cost him a lot of points because Verstappen, of course, went on to win that Grand Prix, scored 25 points more than Lando Norris was able to score. Asking about weather early on, and our engineer Mark telling us pretty well, at this point, not really any threat of rain coming to lap 2, but look at this pressure we've got now on the back of Jack Doohan. He fakes out to the right, contact right there into turn 1. He really didn't leave much room into the first corner, and that's going to allow him to stay ahead. We were very much alongside, but he just did not really seem willing to leave the room. You see, I was actually getting a few stutters in the game right there, which is a bit weird, but that was the only time I ever dealt with it, so it was fine after that. As we come to lap 4, and then we're still chasing Jack Doohan now, and then Albon's now a few seconds up the road. So Carlos Sainz being that Williams up there in towards the top 5, having a great run for the Spaniard. Now Williams has been showing a lot of promise recently as well. Albon in Spa in the sprint, was up there fighting for a top 3 spot until he faded really late now as we come towards the tail end here of this 4th lap, and I think we've got a good chance still to get past Jack Doohan. Yellow flags, it's behind us, it's Liam Lawson. Mechanical failure for the V-Carb driver. It's going to be day over for the New Zealander, and now we continue to put some pressure on the back of Jack Doohan. DRS enabled again, and he has gotten pretty well, he's put himself in a sitting duck position, and he can't defend it. Into turn 1, we go wheel to wheel. We'll take the position there, and you see Aiden Jackson just up there in the distance, so pretty happy just getting that pass done, and we can now start to focus kind of on going forward to our teammate. That's 3 seconds up the road, and I really am confident in the pace that we've gotten. We've got a Connor Sport car in the points right now with Jackson in P10, and I am trying to maximize my pace here in the drive because, as you guys know, Racing in the wet in F125 has been a huge struggle for me. I mean, I have not been able to figure out these wet conditions in this game. I don't know why, I don't know what's been wrong, but I just can't do it. So I knew I had to maximize my pace in the rain because I know once it starts raining, I'm going to be one of the slowest drivers on the racetrack at that point. So I want to be able to get past an Albon and Aiden Jackson and get as far out in front of them as I can because I know that once it starts raining, they're going to reel me back in. They're probably going to be able to pass me and beat me. So realizing as we come to lap 7, approaching lap 8, it's going to be pretty hard to beat Aiden Jackson today. And now, instead of focusing on beating him, I really need to focus on just getting points here today, and if possible. And as we come through here, through past the pit lane now, Alex Albon well within DRS reach at this point, not quite close enough this lap to make a move. Big slide in the back, that's Pierre Gasly, who saves it. What a save from the Frenchman. He's going to keep it going, but he stacks up everybody behind him. It was a single lane corner, they all had to wait, and that puts a huge gap between himself and Jack Doohan in front, and as well, that helps me a lot. He's now 8 seconds back, and I know that's a lot of time that I just saved for when we're racing in the rain compared to those guys, so I was pretty happy to see that happen. But I mean, huge shout out to Gasly saving that thing. In real life, I don't think that happens, to be honest with you, but as we come to lap 10, closing, looking for a move. I mean, goodness gracious, I just breezed past the Williams, but actually it was because I overshot the corner, so he's going to fight right back at us now. Not going to be quite easy now as Alex Albon wants it, but he's going to end up letting us have it. So P11, we're just over 2 seconds behind my teammate of Aiden Jackson. Fernando Alonso up there in P9 as Aston Martin continue to work with Adrian Newey and bring that team to the forefront. I think that's the team we really need to look for going into next season for 2026 in this career mode to maybe make a big step up. And maybe give Alonso and Stroll or whatever driver lineup they have at that point, you know, the resources they need to maybe fight up front now as we continue to run down my teammate of Aiden Jackson. But you're looking up towards the sky, you're seeing some of these overcast, darker clouds as well, starting to roll into the circuit. So I know just visually we're not terribly far away from the rain. How about this? Leclerc, he's going to be coming into the pits. That's a bit of an early stop. He could definitely go longer, so he pits from P2 as we continue to now roll past the Monegasque and the Ferrari. It probably won't be long until he is on the back of our rear wing here. He's going to come out just behind Alex Albon, so he's only a few seconds back here. And as we come to lap 13, we have now reached the DRS of my teammate of Aiden Jackson, and rain's still not here, and all these drivers in front of us have started on the mediums, including my teammate. I don't think they're making it to the rain. I think they're going to have to pit before it rains here, but Charles Leclerc has run us down here as we come to the tail end of this 13th lap. So I know probably come to lap 14 right here, it's pretty well a lost cause, and sure enough, he would get us on the run into turn 1. And he'll make that overtake complete, and he's back into the points now, running P10. So definitely, though, paying attention to these guys in front of us, and still seeing as we come to lap 15, no rain, no pit stops, but I was being told rain is only a few laps out as I overshoot turn 1 nearly into the back of my teammate. But now that news of hearing rain was only a few laps out was making me think that, well, maybe Jackson and everybody else on the mediums are stretching this out to get to the rain, and that would explain why I'm so much quicker right now on these hards, because he is struggling on those mediums. But hold on, he's gonna give up. Jackson bites the bullet, he's coming in, but he's not the only one as well. You've got Piastri in, as well as looks like Max Verstappen has come in, Lewis Hamilton as well, George Russell. Lando Norris is still on the racetrack, but we are going to continue to stay on the racetrack, of course, for as long as we need to. We're hoping for this rain to start falling sooner rather than later. Lando Norris has completed a pit stop. He comes out P2 because Leclerc pitted earlier. He is able to take the lead of this Grand Prix now. So it's going to be Leclerc, Norris, as well as Verstappen, the top 3. Piastri just passed me for 4th. We dropped to P5. Yuki Tsunoda just coming out of the pits in P7. Lewis Hamilton coming up behind me as well. And here comes the rain. The rain is falling. We have held on long enough. We have by far made the best call of anybody here to start on the hards and push this as long as we can. All the guys behind us that started on hards as well made the right call, but I mean, some of them got caught up behind Pierre Gasly, who had that big slide in this corner right here. Speaking of sliding, I mean, me right now, as we exit the final turn, Hamilton catches me off guard big time right there. He is able to take advantage, and now, of course, pit window opens, but we're waiting for it to be time to go to the inters, which is the same lap 19, and it's time. You can see the track getting wet here. DRS is going to be disabled any moment. We're going to come in, get intermediate. Some drivers are in the pit lane right now for intermediate tires. Those were drivers behind us. Aiden Jackson, we're going to have a huge gap on him. Leclerc leads everybody in for the inters now, and let's pay attention. Does he remain in the lead? No, he does not. Lando Norris gets the lead, and I believe Leclerc is going to get leapfrogged by Verstappen. He goes from first to third through the pit stops. That's a huge loss and hit to Leclerc's race now, because it's already difficult to pass in the dry. It's going to be even more difficult to pass in the wet. We get the inters on, and we know what's going to happen now. We are going to be considerably off the pace compared to, you know, all these guys behind us. My teammate of Aiden Jackson, he's coming around. He pitted a lap ago for the inters as well. He is actually going to be able to take advantage and move up into P8. So both Connor Sports have benefited from this rain and just the lap times of choosing when to pit. So we're P6. Jackson P8. Of course, we've made one less pit stop than all of these guys right around us. Piastri, Hamilton, Tsunoda, Jackson, all you name it. But you can see where I'm starting to struggle. The lap time is not there, and I'm still 15 laps to go. And I'm just like, okay, I'm realizing Jackson is 11 seconds back, 10 seconds or so back, but he's probably going to run me down, and I am slipping around, struggling, and here comes Yuki Tsunoda up my inside here. The goal is to just try and hang on to a point-scoring finish. Lando Norris leads over Max Verstappen, and they're both actually driving away from Charles Leclerc and the Ferrari. Piastri runs in 4th, Hamilton maintains P5, and as we come to the end of lap 23, Jackson's already cut the gap nearly in half. From 10 seconds, it was actually 11, now down to 6 seconds, and he continues to close, and he's bringing George Russell with him, so I know both of them are probably going to get to me within the next handful of laps now as we continue to lap 25. The gap now only 3 seconds to Aiden Jackson, 4 to George Russell. I'm doing everything I can, finding as much speed as I can. It's just not happening. I just, like I said, don't have the pace when it comes to the rain in this game, and it's super, super frustrating. I just don't know what I need to do differently, honestly. It's just setups, I would have to assume it's coming down to that, but Aiden Jackson runs me down by the time we come to lap 27. Obviously, not going to fight him because I just don't have the pace to fight him. But this is super frustrating because, again, I feel like overall I think we were quicker than Aiden Jackson today. I felt like we were quicker than Aiden Jackson in Spa. It's going to be back-to-back races where he's going to be scoring more points than us, where I felt like we were quicker than him. So Aiden Jackson continues to be a super impressive rookie, and I think superstar in the making alongside myself in this career mode, because he is able to just execute races, and even when he's maybe a little bit off the pace, he finds ways to execute the points. Here comes George Russell, a bit of a mistake from myself up the elevation. He'll pass us now. We're down to P9, 5 seconds to Behrman as we approach the final handful of laps. Lap 28 at this point now, and Max Verstappen continues to lurk behind Lando Norris and see if he can maybe catch Norris off guard. Norris could have a moment maybe where he makes a mistake and Verstappen could maybe slip through to therefore go on and take the lead of this Grand Prix and run away and open up that championship gap even further. Hold on, that's over. Verstappen, smoke pouring out of the back of his Red Bull. It's instead race over for the Dutchman. Engine gone. Oh boy, that's going to be a huge opportunity for Norris to close this race out and get 25 additional points on Verstappen. Virtual safety car deployed. That's a position for me to gain as well. So thank you very much, Max Verstappen. That'll put us into P8, and that will put Jackson into P6 as the virtual safety car will end on the same lap, and we'll get back racing. Behrman, 2 seconds back. He actually really gained on me right at the end of that VSC. I think he's going to get to us, and then we're going to be fighting to just hang on from there, because I don't know if the Alpine of Jack Doohan is going to be able to get to me. But as we come through to lap 31, 5 laps to go. Behrman is closing in relatively quick now at this point. So now the running order is Norris, Charles Leclerc in currently the second position, and then as well you got Piastri in third, rounding off that podium, Hamilton in fourth. Behrman is here as we approach 4 laps to go. The rain falling steady. It's not a heavy rain, really. It's certainly not anywhere close to a wet tire kind of situation, but as we come to lap 32, we continue to struggle, and I can't do anything about it again. I mean, no point in me fighting as we've got a crash. Leclerc has gone around and has knocked the front wing off. He's completely lost it on his own on the exit of the chicane, and that's going to ruin his race. He's going to have to pit for a new wing, so he does exactly that, and that moves us now up to P8. Leclerc, a huge choke, running second, and now he drops to 9th. So we move up to 8th, but we still got 3 to go, and Leclerc is going to be able to run me down because he's got a new wing, he's got new inters, and he's only not even 2 seconds back. So I realize this is going to be a very short-lived P8 as we approach 2 laps to go, and Lando Norris and now Oscar Piastri are set to make this a McLaren 1-2 finish here in the wet conditions in the Hungarian Grand Prix. Now 2 laps to go. Can we hold off Charles Leclerc? Probably not. We can hold him off for sure on the second to final lap here, but on that final lap he is going to be all over us, as you can see, continuing to struggle, just trying to hang on. Actually, I got a strategy option right at the end of this race to actually jump over onto the wet tire. Obviously, we're not taking it. Final lap underway here from the Hungarian Grand Prix, and here comes Leclerc. Aiden Jackson's on track to score another 5th place effort. Here comes Leclerc to my left side as we head down into turn number 1, wheel to wheel, trying my best to defend over the Ferrari. He's going to try and do a bit of a switchback. We struggle on exit, but we've got the position for now. Leclerc is close, not close enough to make a move, but we overshoot turn 2. We are trying a little bit too hard. Here comes Leclerc to the left again, side by side through the right bend. Make sure we leave room to him, and he's gonna get the job done. Contact there as he comes back on the track. Unbelievable scenes right there. Lando Norris out of the final turn. Another win on the season, and 25 points gained on Max Verstappen. Piastri will end up in 2nd as we roll through the final few corners. Leclerc 8th, myself P9. Aiden Jackson P5. Another great day for Connor Sport, and again, both of our cars in the points for the 2nd time in the team's history, and getting a little bit back on track for P9 here and the Hungarian Grand Prix. Couldn't ask for much more. Felt like in the dry, both of our cars weren't necessarily top 10 cars. Yeah, guys, congrats to Aiden there. Wish it would have stayed dry. We had more than P9, but I did everything I could.
Good comeback today, mate. We needed that after Spa. Let's keep pushing.
Here's the checkered flag. The fans rise to their feet. It's Lando Norris for victory.
You know, we've always been told by Crofty that there is no Verstapping Max Verstappen. Could you say there is Norris stopping Lando Norris? I don't know, that was really cringe. Nonetheless, Lando Norris just gained 25 crucial points right there, and has still kind of given him and McLaren some life here when it comes to fighting for the Drivers' Championship. Max Verstappen did not need that mechanical failure, as you see. How about Yuki Tsunoda in 4th, but Jackson P5, Ollie Behrman P7, great effort from him. Doohan as well scoring a point, great to see. Both Williams end up kind of, short end of the stick today and end up out of the points when we thought Albon or Sainz, was going to maybe score some points, but the gap still 81 points from Verstappen to Norris, a huge gap, but we're barely halfway through the season. And races like that show you can make some big gains sometimes. As you can see as well, Connor Sport up to 46 points. We could fight Williams for 5th before this season comes to a close. Red Bull comfortably on top by the same gap Verstappen has on Lando Norris. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.